To be a follower of Jesus in the early centuries of the church, as we know, meant being cut off from family and friends and society, and maybe even losing one's life. In some fundamentalist Muslim countries, to embrace Christ is to bring a death sentence upon yourself. And if you are a Mormon, even though you are a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, become a Christian and you will become disfellowshipped. A polite way of saying dead to your family and your friends. Jesus wanted his followers to count the cost and to choose wisely. And many in that crowd took another look at Jesus, really heard what he had to say, and headed for the door. Some translations point out the obvious, that at this point, the crowds that followed Jesus became significantly smaller. I'll bet they did. Especially when he goes on to mention taking up the cross. Never a crowd pleaser, and after 2 stories that he tells that seem absolutely perfect for thinning out the crowds, both ask essentially the same questions. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Do you understand what following Jesus might mean? Dr. William H. Williman has said, I'll tell you, when you think about some of the stuff that Jesus said, consider his sermons, his demands, it's a wonder that any of you are here on Sunday. Unless what Jesus happens to be saying is true. Several years ago, I presided over a funeral that, even though there have been hundreds of funerals between then and now, has stuck with me to this day. It was all because of a sign on one of those memory boards that families put together. The pictures, the crowd, the family all led me to believe that the man was a good boy, albeit a guy who had lots and lots of stuff. There were pictures of him on his speedboat and on his jet skis and in his cabin that was nicer than my house, and on snow skis in Vail, and water skis somewhere in the Caribbean. The man had even souped up his lawnmower to make it go faster. At the center of the picture was a sign, the most inappropriate sign that I have seen in my 41 years in and around funeral homes. It said, "He who dies with the most toys wins." He who dies with the most toys wins. I'm not making that up. I looked at the sign. I looked at the 67-year-old dead guy in the casket. The sign. Looked back at him. Back at the sign. Back at him. And the only thing I could think of was, no, he who dies with the most toys is just dead. I had spent my high school and my college and some of my seminary years working for the funeral home where the memorial service was taking place. I knew the owner, and Tom Gibbons had a strict policy. We only had wakes for dead people. He was funny that way. So this man, who had more stuff than you or I could ever hope to have, in the end, was dead. Stone cold, definitely dead. The painfully sharp point in Jesus' words is that that sign just doesn't work. Toys won't do it for us. In fact, to have chosen them over everything else is not to have chosen life, but death. You may have a life, a full, rich life, maybe, but still, it will be a life less than God intended. This is the bottom line truth that Jesus and Moses are insisting upon. If we are to follow God, we have to do it with everything that we have. It's an all or nothing deal. It's with a core affirmation that the faith of Jesus Christ is that when you place everything, your riches, your worries, your health, your well-being, your family, and your friends in the hands of Jesus and given them up to Him, you've chosen wisely. Choose to place your career in the hands of God, and it may not come back to you exactly as you wanted, but it will come back to you raised to a higher purpose. You won't see it the same way again. Choose to place your family, your friends, your dear ones in the hands of God, and those relationships will come back, tempered with a deeper love. Choose to place your hobbies, your joys, your frustrations, your satisfactions, your sorrows, your money, your church in the hands of God. And they will all come back to you with a deeper meaning, because you have chosen to place them where they belong. Once to every man and nation, Lowell began his poem, comes the moment to decide. Decide. Choose to place everything you have and are and ever will be in the hands of God, and you will discover the truth of Lowell's closing line to that majestic poem. Yet behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch upon God's own. Choose wisely, my friends, and then let God keep watch.